about to go somewhere odd now. Times to rise and elevation starts to drop down. Our little secret, don't kiss and tell, you're so bad. I'll probably see you in hell. Welcome to hell, baby. This is podcast hell.
It's called a club chair. That's the style.
I love this style. I like this. I like doing that move.
Yep.
I hate chairs where this is too low and you're like, where do my arms?
Yeah, and then you actually feel like you feel pain sometimes.
Yeah. What kind of style is that?
This is, I think it's called a dead grandfather chair.
It's really called a dead grandfather?
No, but it kind of feels like something.
It kind of feels like the chair.
It kind of feels like this is it's like an armchair.
Armoire? I'm just like, that's a word I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, if an armoire were a chair.
An armoire is like a dresser.
Yeah,
like
but it kind of looks like an armoire.
Yeah. What's up, kitty?
Oh, that's Matza.
Matza, the teen mom. What an adorable story. Your cat had kitties too early. That doctor was like, she might hate her kids.
Exactly.
Like, she wanted to go to college. She had like a scholarship to Rutgers.
Yeah.
And this fucking litter of kittens came along. I guess you have nice cats.
Yes, they're very nice.
Yeah. So what is the deal with mean cats? I feel like, what do you think the ratio is of nice cats to mean cats?
I think it's sort of like dogs. I think sometimes they've been abused or something terrible happened to them that gave them trauma. I think sometimes they have like brain tumors, and like I've heard that can cause like an angry cat like over time. But I think it's really just the environment and nurture, really. I mean, with these cats, we had them since they were pretty young, and they were friendly and nice, especially the kitten. I mean, he's only known nice human beings, so. He's
only known the love you've shown him.
Exactly.
So you don't really see a difference that much between cats and dogs, it sounds like.
No, I mean, I always say or a lot of people say the best cats are like dogs.
Yeah,
so.
That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like a cat bigot.
No, but it's, I mean, that's kind of the truth. I mean, it's always a bummer when you go to someone's house and the cat just like dips under the bed and you never see them again.
Cat fucking sucks. Yeah. My wife is allergic to cats, but she likes them. So she's always, it's a push and pull. She'll be like, I'll see her like looking at the cat with her hands by her sides, and I'm like, she wants to pet it. And then I'll look away, and then I'll go back, and she was giving it one. Yeah. And then in the car, she sounds like fucking Val Kilmer from Tombstone. And I'm like, you did it. You chose to touch that cat.
You can't even do cats in moderation if it's that bad,
Yeah, I keep being like, one day you'll get the shots maybe.
Yeah.
But she says it's like a nightmare.
Can you microdose cats? Like just slowly build up?
I think you can microdose anything. You could like microdose getting your penis cut off if you really wanted to be, just take a little.
Yeah, no.
I've every day.
I've had to. It's like breast reduction. Sometimes like
it's just too heavy carrying this bad boy around.
It's just hurting like the top of my head was just like
my body's out of whack. I have back problems. Yeah, ladies do get breast reductions because of that. That's apparently the reason is it hurts their back too much.
100%. Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, terrible. It's terrible both ways. It's terrible they have that pain, and then it's terrible that they gotta remove.
Yeah.
I don't know where this is going. It's so interesting, like looking out at a comic's view, and it's this beautiful. Like I feel like I'm much more calm than I normally am on the podcast, just looking out this window.
For you, when you're,
I'm usually looking. Like we have a pool in our complex, but I'm on the second floor, so I see the balcony to where the pool. Like I could jump into my pool if I wanted to. But all I can really see is like the next door neighbor, like her mom, usually doing laundry.
Okay.
And I'm usually looking at her.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at her.
Right.
I'm not like.
You're looking at laundry.
Yeah, well, I guess I am looking at her, but I'm not with intent. Just that's the only thing out my window.
Right.
And then I did have like light blocking, cloth or whatever.
Yeah.
but that fell off a month ago, and I just haven't put it back up. So now I just basically podcast to my entire neighborhood, like the whole window's open. It's like a wall to wall sliding glass door.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's we had a nice condo, but we don't got what you got, Charlie.
Well, would it make you feel a little more at home if I like strung up a couple pairs of pants out there
on those electrical wires right there? Actually, block the beautiful mountain
with the sweater,
the rising green. Is that a mountain or a hill? That's like a.
I think they call it East Mountain. I think technically it qualifies as a mountain, but these are small mountains here.
Yeah, these are walkable mountains.
Yeah, but Mount Greylock, which is our most sizable mountain in the area, is you can't see it, but it's like over my shoulder, over the chair.
That way?
Yeah.
Do you ever hike up the mountains?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah?
Bunch. Yeah, pretty into it.
That's what people come here for, mostly. That and Shakespeare.
Leaf peeping type stuff in the fall. Yeah, Shakespeare and Company, Williamstown Theater Festival.
Shakespeare and Company, is that the thing you were telling me about that's close to here?
It's like an hour away.
Okay.
Tanglewood also. Here it's like Massimoga Museum is the big thing.
That's where I went this morning.
Nice.
Lickety Split.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
You know that place?
Yeah, of course.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's good. Their stuff's good.
They do a little, they got a little gluten-free action going there.
Nice.
That could have been the place I got sick too, but I don't know. I like to just think it wasn't them.
Yeah.
They were so nice. Also, the thing that always blows me away is how cheap food is outside of LA.
Oh, I know. It's still noticeably higher.
Here?
Than it was pre-COVID, I guess. But.
I mean, the breakfast sandwich I got today was $5.50.
Oh, well, that's
turkey,
really
bacon,
good.
and cheese on gluten-free bread. Usually that would run me like, no joke, $15-20.
Oh, I guess I didn't realize their breakfast was so affordable. I mean, that's
here's the thing, affordable breakfast, but then an insane yogurt price. The yogurt markup, I don't know whose fucking cow made that milk, but like the yogurt was like $7.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I want to get something with my sandwich. And she goes, we have yogurt over there. And it tripled the bill.
Yeah.
It was a good yogurt, though. It was like, it felt like we just made fresh yogurt just for you to come in and do comedy shows. That's how in my mind, when I was eating it, I was like, they made this, they knew I was coming. It was great.
It was like an opener.
Yeah, a little bit.
Opening for you.
A really solid feature, Man, it's so peaceful. I feel like a calm that I've.
Yeah, me too. It's a great place to come and not succeed in show business as quickly as probably if you were somewhere a little more frenetic.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, who fucking, I don't even know what it like. Everybody just at a certain point, like once you get past 25, you're like, okay, I'm not going to be, a star.
Yeah.
Then you're just like, okay, how do I have a life and still enjoy myself and do comedy?
100%.
Very, very hard to strike that balance. I know a lot of people that I came up with have not. Like, I know people that have given it up completely and are pretty miserable.
Yeah.
And I know people that need to give it up completely and they just won't stop.
Yeah, it's kind of all or nothing. It's really hard to, but I could see it being miserable totally stopping.
Me too. I don't know, it's like I get along with comics so much better. It'd be very weird to not be hanging out. And
just the way you approach life, you're so much more engaged with it when you're thinking about like, oh, that's pretty funny. I could maybe do some little.
Everything. Like when bad things happen in my life, I do step outside of it and go like, if I was just watching this, it would be very funny. It's funny. Also
the catharsis of like then doing something with it, like on stage.
Yeah. It's
then you have that silver lining.
Yeah, I think I'm a lifer, but I don't know what it'll look like.
Yeah, same. I always want to like at least have a toe in. You know what I mean? At least be able to hit little local shows, even.
Yeah.
Just until you stop like forgetting punchlines and stuff. I feel like there's a time when it's just,
where
know.
It definitely gets sad.
But then, like, if you're that senile, you might not even remember you bombed. So then you just like keep getting up.
Couldn't you do like a teleprompter?
Maybe.
Do people like? I don't know. Like, what's the lowest level you can start using a teleprompter? like your touring college. Because sometimes I think that I'm like, man, if I just had a teleprompter right there above the audience where I could just remember where I'm at, leave, come back to it, like that would be pretty.
Yeah.
But it just seems like I'm not there financially to make it worth, putting a teleprompter in carry-on baggage.
Yeah, or putting in your rider, just
my rider. Can you imagine if I had handed you a rider when I arrived? I was like, hey, if you're going to lay out Skittles, I only want the tropical berry, the mixed berry, the purple one. That's nothing else. Go through them. The justification for that was bands wanted to make sure that the venues were actually reading everything in the rider. Like if they had safety stuff,
right?
Like if they were coming in on wires or something, they were like, let's see if they listened about the M&Ms, and if they did, then we'll know that the wires are safe.
Yeah.
I think it could also be that guys in bands are douchebags.
I think so.
It could be both.
I mean, you hear those stories about the blue M&Ms or whatever. I think there is probably that one bad actor that's just like they actually do have something like obsessive about the one color Skittle or whatever. But
yeah, like OCD or something.
Yeah, I've also found that I do some contract stuff for some part-time work, and you can pretty much say no to a bunch of stuff in the rider, and they're usually like, okay, they're usually like, can you bring all these things? And you're like, no, can you bring them? They're like, okay. So
really,
yeah. So I think there's a lot of stuff is just sort of just gets tacked on, but it's sort of not necessary.
I don't think I've. You feel free to tell me. I don't think I've been high maintenance.
No, you've been good.
All right, cool. Oh, you had to inhale sharply.
That was just. I mean, those sound good on podcasts. So, no, you've been great. Super easy.
I've had such a for people who I guess people know on the podcast. I don't know. By the time they listen to this, I'm back because it's come out on Tuesday.
Nice.
But
welcome back.
Berkshires. I want to say Brookshires.
I know.
I want to make it sound more like it's in Lord of the Rings.
Every comic wants to go that way. And
Berkshires, but it's
Berkshires. Unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunate that
Sure, Sure is the pronunciation. Are you think every comic's doing it on purpose to be a dick, or they just are?
No, I just think.
To it?
Well, I think it's like it looks like Shire, so it would make sense that it would be Shire. But like most words in the English language, it makes no sense.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite Norm jokes of all time. Is someone says that to him on his podcast. That's why English is the hardest language, and he goes, "Really? To me, it's the easiest." So stupid.
Okay.
I had a all-time. We already talked about this, but I think my podcast listeners out there will be happy to know I cried like a bitch at the bar last night before the show. And I feel vulnerable talking about it, but I'm like, I feel like I should talk about.
I'd love to hear this again.
I've been analyzing it, like what about it was making me. It's like because it's a combo. Like it's the road. Mm-hmm. I was tired. I had the end of a week of work. I'm still working a full-time job while I'm doing all this stuff, and I do miss my wife. My love for her is part of the story, but I don't want to focus on that. Unless she's listening, in which case that's the only reason.
That's the through line.
That's the through line. I do love my wife and I enjoy being around her. But it's like, it was also like the nature of that bar was like, they had, I don't know if in my mind, they were a couple, the man and woman singing duets on piano and guitar. And the people in there were like listening, still talking. The people on stage were cool with their music being kind of like background. But at certain moments and certain songs, you could feel people get a little quiet to like listen to maybe their favorite part of whatever. And then at the bar, there was a bunch of guys, trucker hats, just like, I remember just one guy going like, oh, man, Friday night, I just want to fucking relax, and like put his arm out over his wife. And like that started it, where I was like, oh man, that's like there's a simplicity in that I'm jealous of.
Yeah.
And then the romantic couple, again, in my mind, they're a couple. They could fucking hate each other. But they started singing Danny's song, which I don't know the name of the band. I had to Google the lyrics to see what the name of the song was. But it's that one where they go, even though we ain't got money, and I was even like doing it now. I'm like, oh God, I feel it. Like it really just fucking punched me in the face. And it's like it would have been a great sad scene in a movie.
Totally.
Alone at a bar, surrounded by couples in a small town on a Friday night, crying to an old song.
Well, and then the waiter appeared and handed you a Caesar salad, which is also kind of sad.
Yeah, that was sad too.
2 Caesar salads, because I ordered one.
I handed it to you, not looking at you. Like,
I know. I wish I had seen you, because I probably would have been like,
"You all right,
you
man?
Good?"
Fucking weeping. And I was on stage like not that long after that. Like
no, probably like 30 minutes later.
Yeah,
so.
But it was good because it was like, I don't know, like, again, just talking about the simplicity. I keep saying simple over and over. I feel like it sounds insulting. It's not. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a slowed down life up here.
Yes, for sure.
And I think when it's like that, you may be like, I'm like feeling my feelings more.
Yeah.
Versus like, yeah, I'm feeling sad today, but like I have work and I got a mic to run to, or like whatever. Like in LA, and especially when I was in New York, you can just fill up your fucking schedule and never look inward.
No, never.
But this, I even like when I was walking to get food this morning, I was like, don't put in your headphones. Like just walk around.
Nice.
Like hear the sounds of a town that you don't live in.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. And then a homeless guy started walking towards me. I immediately put my headphones in, and, because I wanted to like not seem like I was looking at him.
Yeah, no, that's why you carry headphones. You just don't use them.
Yeah, well, I used to do that in Harlem. I would put my headphones in but not play music or leave one out.
Nice.
And that was those were the days. That's probably when I met you. I was in Harlem for like 6 years.
Yeah.
The headphones were a tool to get home safe at night.
Nice.
Yeah, and then dude, by the time I left Harlem, it was like, oh no, the cat. Yeah. Is she gonna?
I don't know, Tank. Get away from that camera, bud.
Is Tank's got to be a boy?
He's a boy. Yeah.
Okay.
He chose his name by the way he acted since birth. We like had weird nicknames, like this is like that Tank-ish cat. This is like the runt. Like they were just like adjectives, but like he was just insane from the get, so it stuck.
Yeah. I like that he's curious. He's getting right into my bag right now.
He's a curious guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the thing about music too, though, to your point, is that when you do become introspective, those songs just like bring weird shit out. Dude, I listened to that Blink-182 song today.
What'd you think?
I cried.
It's really sad.
It was terrible. I don't even really, like, I'm not even a super fan. Like, I did like Blink-182 a lot. Yeah. 182 we were talking about last night.
Yeah.
But no, it just reminded me of a couple friendships that, like, just went the wrong way, and it's just like brutal. Or just friends that have passed, and then sort of just like their death.
Yeah, when he comes in with that, "Do I have to die to hear you miss me?"
Oh my God.
You're just like, whew.
Even just the strangers, the friends, the strangers, you know what I mean? Because you live long enough, and that keeps happening in different chapters of your life. People
kind of fade in, fade out. It's fucking intense. It's like I like literally almost wanted to get like one more time tattooed on my arm to like remember like when I'm in moments that I'm enjoying, to like be in the moment.
Yeah, and then people will be like, "Oh, that dude loves Daft Punk."
Fucking love Daft Punk. There's one Daft Punk song I do love. I don't know their band at all, but there's the one where, I don't know, somebody's on there like guest singing on it, and it's like, I never know what I want to say. I never know where I want to go. But I don't like that part. There's a part where it goes, so far away, and it goes bum 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 bum. It like the music slows back down for the second verse.
Yeah,
and it's like it's like a trance, like state. It's so fun. It's like random song. Like I won't even be into a genre, but like certain songs will just be like something about that is like audibly pleasing to me.
Sure.
And so my playlist will just be like, nothing but emo, and then, one Kendrick Lamar song. I'm like, just that one.
Yeah.
Like that one hits it for me.
Yeah.
What would you say? Do you have like do you ever listen to music with the intention of crying?
No,
feels like one more time might have been a little. Feels like you might have been trying.
I had just had a chicken Caesar salad. It just was very triggering. No, I think I was just curious because we had talked about it, and I just wanted to hear it. But I don't know. I feel like I'm at the point in my life where I don't really like need to cry or force myself to cry anymore, or like I'm not repressing it like I probably did when I was younger. So like, it's also, I don't know. It's not. I don't enjoy it because I'm not repressing those emotions. I like feel like I kind of feel them in a organic way. Like, I don't know, like if I cry, then like my eyes hurt and shit. It sort of feels like, you know, like when you're like stoned and then you're not stoned and then like your eyes are kind of heavy, like from like the post.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how I feel after crying. So it's just not like, it's not something I seek out.
You like to be pulled in.
Yeah, or I don't. Yeah, or just like I'll just be taken by surprise.
Just start pulling.
I remember one of the first times I cried as an adult was that movie. I think Go Ask Alice. You remember that?
I never saw it.
It was with Juliette Moore, I think, and she plays someone who has like Alzheimer's, and it's like shows her like losing her mind. And just like as like a comic, it just like hit like a weird nerve.
Yeah, like in case you're gonna like lose your punchlines. Wait,
I just feel like my brain is like the only thing of value. There's like not much else I like offer.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, just to lose the only thing that kind of gives me like purpose as outside of like personal stuff.
Yeah. Wouldn't it? Yeah. It's like kind of like the cruelest of all the things that can happen to you.
I mean, that's kind of why they said Robin Williams killed himself, because he was getting that like that disease that was going to kind of take his cognition.
What disease was he getting?
I forget what it was, but it was like he was gonna start to lose like a lot of function that would contribute to his comedy.
Yeah, I didn't know that about him. If only he could have like taken the functionality from other comics. Isn't he
just borrowed it?
I didn't make that up. He's like an admitted.
Yeah, I mean, he claimed it was like just osmosis. He was just around it all the time, and like his brain in one ear kind of like, the problem was he would make everything better. So like he would take a line and he would add layers to it that just made it even stronger. So it was like, not only was he like sort of stealing stuff, but it was like then better than the original.
That's got to be infuriating, and also making money on it, right?
Oh yeah,
like that's that's not. That's why I like, when people were giving Rogan a lot of shit, I just always went like, he's the guy that stood up against Carlos Mencia and lost his management, like was basically going like, I'm not going to work in Hollywood anymore. Like that, when he did that, that was like a really objectively brave thing to do.
Totally.
And I feel like he does not get credit for that. Even from comics. Like I think people just kind of forgot about it, and they're like, they think of the aftermath where he's this huge guy and Carlos Mencia has this terrible reputation.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was the inverse. They had the same management. They kept Carlos, got rid of him, and he was the bad guy.
But isn't that wild that like Carlos Mencia at one point in time was like arguably like top 3 comedians, like just like in terms of like name recognition, and now like Joe Rogan has totally like eclipsed him, and now Carlos is like, you barely hear his name.
Yeah, it is a little weird. There's a clip on YouTube of him defending himself against Rogan on a radio show, and then like he kind of like at the very end, after defending himself, like kind of goes into one last bit before he leaves, and you hear the radio host who's kind of on his side going like, all right, Carlos, yeah, okay, well, thanks for coming on, guys. And then Carlos hangs up. He goes, guys, we can't have Carlos on the show again. And they're like, why? And they're like, because that last bit he did, he stole that from me.
Are you serious?
And he like documents like he told this joke. Carlos, there was some like thing, and he was like, that's my joke.
Oh my God.
And he fucking stole a joke of a guy that he was defending himself against stealing jokes to.
Oh my
on live radio.
God.
Horrible. And by the way, also, who fucking knows? Like,
I know. I mean, he honestly could have like a brain defect where like he he doesn't remember it, but that it's in his brain, then he thinks he came up with it. But I mean, the stuff that you hear about his openers where he'd just be like, he basically would like groom them with their material. He'd be like, oh yeah, that joke's really, I don't know, it's not that good. And then he'd like start doing it.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I should do it. It probably fits me. You know, like he
that's
just
like
do that kind of shit.
That's like every time I do a show and someone comes up and they're like, you know, I have a similar joke. I'm like, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Oh, you have a similar thought? Okay, great.
Yeah.
You make sure not to do it opening for me.
Yeah.
The next time I see you. Oh no! I guess if that joke magically appears in your act, I'll keep an open mind. I don't know, man. It's that's like, you're right. That's like going back to the Alzheimer's things. Like that's the thing we have.
Yeah.
Is we have jokes. Although I'll say this. I said this on the pod before, but I think it was on a solo episode, so I just said it to myself. But like, you know, like when really successful comics go like, hey, you know, what else was I gonna do? I failed at everything else I was going to do. This is all I could do. I always listen to that and go like, yeah, not me. Like I could do sales. I could own a business. Comedy's probably like the fourth best thing I do.
Yeah.
And like, I think most people could do something else successfully. They just, you know, they made it. That's great.
Totally.
But I kind of hate when people are like, I was this or a gutter. I'm like, probably not.
Of course. And also like all the skills to be a good comic, being comfortable in front of thousands of people, like being able to shape ideas and refine them. Like you can be like a management consultant or some bullshit and make like way more money.
You know what honestly would be a great one is like preacher.
Yes.
Like preacher, like run a congregation.
Yes.
Have a little cult. Yeah, have a little cult.
Yeah. You could totally get a cult.
Yeah, D'Elia had himself a little cult going.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like, I was like, that's kind of the perfect graduation from comedy. I'm not supporting it.
Yeah.
I'm not supporting, I don't know what he did. But, you know, just like from the ability of being able to move people.
Yeah. No, I mean, being able to take your ideas and also, I don't know, it's also like, I mean, comedy's hard, right? But it's not that hard, you know? Like
No, it's really not.
And people come up to us all the time and they say, oh, it's so hard. Like, it's the hardest job. Like, I had a pilot come up to me at a show recently, a fucking pilot for, like, Delta. And he was like, how do you do it? Like, it's so hard. I was like, dude, you're a fucking pilot.
Yeah.
You would do, like, 1,500 hours of flight school. You get, like, drug tested all the time.
Yeah, I have buddies that went to Iraq that like have seen me do comedy and have said the same thing, and I'm like, bro, people shoot to try to kill you,
of course,
and you like protect your brothers and America and all. You're willing to die for people you don't know. Like, I'm like, what I do is objectively dog shit compared to that.
Totally.
Like, this is just kind of like clowning, and I also like, I think I have this perspective from teaching improv for years, where it's like, if people just relax, everybody can do some level of comedy.
Sure.
It's just getting to a place where you can be yourself comfortably in front of people.
Exactly. Which
like,
takes time. But
yeah, and there's like a given, there's like some people are going to have a predilection to being better at it, obviously.
Yeah.
And a talent for it. But even people who aren't talented, I feel like, yeah, if somebody like had a gun to like their wife's head and they were like, you have 3 years to get a decent 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, they could do it.
For sure.
I think anybody could get a decent 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's not me, that's also not being like, you'd have to work at it.
You have to work. You have to do the work.
Yeah, it would suck. I mean, it's like 3 years of work. Like, you'd have to go every day to an open mic, but you could do it.
And what's so funny about it, too, is like, I don't know, everyone's so obsessed with like technology and like data now. It's like, literally being a comic, you get so much fucking data. Every time you tell a joke, it's like tuning an instrument. You hear exactly how the audience reacts. Like when you add a tag, they laugh harder. When you do it a bunch of times, you prove it's like, it like literally is just like surveying people. It's like, it's not like other jobs where you have to like invent a board game and like hope that people want to buy it and play it and you have no idea.
Yeah.
Know?
You know what's interesting? It would be a great documentary. If you like took somebody and you were like, we're going to pay you, like, what does your job make right now? $85,000. Okay, great. We're going to pay you $85,000. Your job already approves this. You have 1 year to get a 5-minute set and perform it at a real club without telling them that you're a new comic.
Yeah.
Like you have to have a good 5 minutes. This person's going to hang out with you the whole time, and we're going to document it.
Yeah.
And we're going to make a movie about that year, culminating with your 5-minute spot.
Yeah.
Like, and it needs to be made by a comedian, so like you can really capture like the essence of what that process
and
is.
Find the right like introverted and like shy person, like person who really, it's a struggle to.
Someone who doesn't like public speaking.
Yeah, which was me early on, like before I thought about doing comedy. It's funny you mentioned this. One of the funniest things that ever happened to me in LA is I went to this party and there was this dude who, it was like a non-union thing. He hired me and this friend to write like a movie. It never went anywhere, but we worked for him, quote unquote. And then I didn't see him for a while, and then I saw him at a party, and I was pretty early in stand-up, and he was like with a girl. I think he was trying to impress a girl, and he was like, "Hey Charlie, I look forward to our next project together, or our upcoming." He said it like there was a project we were working on.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know. I think I didn't want to embarrass him in front of the girl and be like, "What? Like we're not working together."
Yeah.
So I like went to our mutual friend, the one I wrote the thing with, who was there. I was like, "What does this dude mean?" Like he's like, "Oh, he's gonna make a documentary about you, like becoming like a comic, like an up and coming comic." And I was like, "Oh, like that's good to know."
Was he going to tell you?
I have no fucking idea. He never did. It was just like this,
he never made it, obviously.
No, but he never even like reached out to like it was just sort of like he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this documentary about this dude without his consent." And
you know what it is? Is like it happens with working out too. If you say you're gonna do something, you get all the endorphins from that you would get from doing it.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they're trying to lose weight, they're like they get all like hyped up on the plan to do it.
Yeah.
And then they don't follow through because they already got the feelings.
Right. Interesting.
So you have to kind of like be aware of that when you're making plans.
Totally.
Like, I feel good making this plan. Fuck that. Go do something right now that isn't fun, that doesn't give you endorphins, like planning it out.
It's like what you were saying about I was talking about storytelling and stand-up, and you're like, you just have to tell a story every time. And even last night when in my set I was doing something that was a little bit of a story, and I thought of you. I was like, I'm doing a story right now.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I love that. Still a teacher deep in my core.
Yeah, which was distracting. I didn't really want to be thinking about you during my set,
No.
There's so many other variables.
You certainly don't.
Yeah.
It's hard not to sometimes be like, when somebody that you're friends with or family or whatever is in the audience, to not be like, I wonder what my Uncle Gerard thinks about this right now.
Yeah. Well, comedy is not built for like individual opinions either, so it's like even if they're strangers.
Well, you were saying it last night. There was like you also just don't know what someone's going through. Like there was a lady that I thought was hating my set, and then came up to me afterwards saying she loved it, but like. Some people laugh hidden with a frown on their face.
Exactly.
Like that is literally, who knows? And it comes from when they were a kid. They were laughing and their dad like backhanded them. They're like, frown when you laugh.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
And that just.
Well, and it's like it goes back to that. We were talking about empathy yesterday, and like, I wish we could be exposed more to like how audiences are feeling, to like remind us more often how important it can be to some people. Because like as a comic, it's like super binary. You go in, you're like, did I do well? Did I not do well? You don't really think about any of the individuals. But then sometimes you'll meet someone. The same pilot show, I met this woman who, it was like this restaurant that does shows twice a year. And at the last show, her husband like wasn't feeling well and like had to go outside. And he ended up like being diagnosed with terminal cancer and dying like within a month.
Oh my God.
And then she came back to the next show. Like, wow. There are some people in this world that would be like, I can never see a comedy show again because it reminds me of this like beginning of this awful thing. But it's like, to have this thing that's like, it's like a nice.
He got cancer at a show where you were performing.
The one before. So
and
like
then she came back.
So then like 6 months later, he was gone. She came back with like a good friend to watch and enjoy a night out.
Dude. And she told you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was like it sort of like got teased out from the conversation. Like, she was like, the owner was like, how are you doing? And then she was like, I'm doing all right. And then like someone told us the story. So it was like, she didn't like come up and be like, here, this happened. But
Holy shit. Crazy that she came back.
Crazy.
That
she associates comedy with like a joyful thing, and that, maybe she associates with that was the last time he was sort of healthy,
Yeah. And it's like a reminder to like actually love the audience.
Yes.
Like even if, like, doesn't mean like you have to pander to them. It doesn't mean you have to like, I'm very combative with the audience a lot of time. But that doesn't mean I don't love them.
Of course.
It just means like this is what the show needs. That's my, I don't want to say persona. Persona's not the right word. That's me plus. Like that's that. Sure. I am a defensive person. So it's like, I don't know. Like I also like, I just think that's like a takeaway that I have to remind myself.
Yeah.
Because to get locked in like, what is this show gonna do for me?
Yeah.
Oh man, is the right person here? Like all that shit is like a distraction from being present with the crowd you're with and like making that a real, it's fucking art.
Yep.
You can't be painting art and going like painting art. To me, like only art is painting. And everything else is just like, oh no, the music is different. But no, painting is actual art. But no,
and just watercolors, right? Not like any other.
Yeah, the worst kind of paint. The stupidest of all the arts. What is the shittiest art? If you had watercoloring is up there.
Oh, clowning.
Clowning is the shittiest art.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah,
clowning it's act outs. It's like the thing we make the most fun of in stand up. Like, it's like LA is known for comics that just like have act outs because it's like LA. Like clowning is just like, what if we just took away all the jokes and it was just act outs?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's bad. It's definitely bad. I've seen, there was like a clown that used to come to the pit back in the day. He was called like Red Clown or something. He had a name. He was from France, and he would just do these like 30-minute shows where he wouldn't say a word.
Yeah.
People were like, it's brilliant. And I'd just be like, it's not. And it's a skill.
Yeah.
But it can be skilled and all. Like I'm a big thing of like, if it's the best of something, I'll watch it.
Well,
I don't like horror movies, but I'll watch the best horror movie.
Well, it's just like, it's great for a 5-year-old's birthday party. You know what I mean? Like, it's great. But 5-year-olds don't have taste. What's on your top like worst art?
Probably like abstract art.
Yeah.
Like, like it's a lead pipe and a pile of dog shit with a McDonald's marker in the background.
Yeah.
And it's like, do with this what you will. Like that kind of fucking attitude with art. Every time I go to an art museum, it's always with my wife, and she's just quietly like reading the stuff, and she'll just look at me and I'm just staring at her like, when can we go? Like I fucking oh yeah, look at that. It's who's that? There's some guy, Jeff something. I can't think of his last name, but
Koons, maybe?
Phillips?
Koons?
Yeah. We went to go see a Jeff Koons exhibit, and I was mad I was like, I'm mad. This is 3 hours of my life I never get back.
Yeah.
There's like a photo of him like with his fucking dick out, and he's like banging, I think, his wife, and there's a McDonald's thing behind it. Like that's literally the art. And it's that thing of like, it means what you want it to mean. But what did you mean? Here's the thing. I agree that like once you put art out, it's like it is for the audience's interpretation. They can find things that maybe you didn't see.
Sure.
But if like you tortured that guy, if you just strapped him to a fucking chair and you were like, you're gonna tell me what that fucking Ronald McDonald thing was, I think when you got to the truth, he'd be like, it didn't mean anything. I can't think of what it means.
Yeah.
My art is to let other people decide.
I think like there's real skill if it's like one or the other interpretation. Like when an artist creates something that like creates like this, like, oh, do you think it means this or do you think it means that? Like movies sometimes where it's like, oh, was the person dreaming the whole time or were they not dreaming? But like when it's like, it could mean all these different things and like these are the themes. Like I felt that way with like high school English class when we'd read like some fucking book that we should not read as 16-year-olds. Like that was just super boring. And like you'd have to analyze it and be like, it's about like this stuff. And I'm like, is it though? Like
you can make it about anything. When English degrees are such bullshit. I got one. And like my senior thesis, I wrote about Batman, like how Batman reflects the culture. And it was like, as I was writing it, I was like, this is bullshit. I'm writing it the last day before it's due.
Yeah.
I'm grasping at straws. I got an A- on it. And I remember like I showed it to my dad because he was curious. Me and my dad did not get along when I was in college. And but he's like, he was very into me going to college.
Sure.
And like, you know, he paid for it. He wanted all my kids are going. I just wouldn't, you know, let up about it. So he wanted to like read my senior thesis. I remember I handed it to him. And the title was like Batman, a Legacy of whatever. And he just looked at it and was like, this look of like, what the fuck did I pay? What did I do? Why? And then like now when I talk to my dad about college, he's like, I don't know if people need to go to college anymore. I'm like, that's all you fucking talked about. My entire childhood is how I had to go. It was never an option not to go.
You changed his mind.
I changed his mind. By showing him a fucking Batman paper.
It's so
40
good.
pages on the history of Batman. That's what the fucking, that's what he paid for.
I love that. College is socialization. That's like, you know.
Yeah, there's a value to it. I think you shouldn't go unless you know what, you actually have a plan for what you want to do. I think a lot of people would be benefited by getting a job.
Yeah.
Out of high school.
Yeah, it's a quick way to know what you like, you know?
Yeah, get a job, get interested in something, and then go get a degree once you like have an idea what path you're taking.
Or better yet, find jobs that you enjoy, in industries that you enjoy, and then go, because it's like, jobs suck no matter what sometimes. So it's like, you know, a lot of people do the reverse. They're like, oh, I'm really passionate about this, and they get a job in that field, and it's like, oh, everyone's really terrible. You know?
Yeah. That's what they say the key to happiness is to find a thing you love doing and then find a way to get paid to do that thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's actually the key to happiness. I don't think there is a key to happiness. I think happiness is a fleeting thing with too many.
Yeah, I mean, they say it's a choice. It really is. It really is something you just have to like.
It is a fucking choice.
You have to just choose to do.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
I'm listening to a different they. Because the theys I've heard, this is not a non-binary joke either. I mean, like whenever somebody goes, they say, what they're really going is like the things my parents put in front of me when I was 10. That's the they.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't know if I've read like papers that are like they'll measure the happiness in different groups. They're like,
yeah,
Republicans are this % happy and Democrats are this %. I'm just like, how the fuck are you measuring that?
Yeah.
Someone says that they're happy and you're taking them at their
they're
face value?
surveying them or something. But I mean, I think the reason why I realize it's a choice is because you just see people of all different circumstances in life that are very unhappy or happy, and it sort of seems arbitrary why, you know, and especially successful people. There's some super unhappy, like really rich people. And when I worked in show business, I was around a decent amount of people like that, and it's like everyone in LA wants to like make it in show business. So like, I don't know, I was super naive. I just thought that like everyone would be so fucking grateful and happy that they were like an executive producer or whatever.
No, dude, they're miserable.
So miserable.
And they want the next guy's job or the next gal's job.
That's the thing too. They're like, I'm not this like huge person. Like I'm not this most famous director or this like.
Yeah, it's like, I'm a big Nikki Glaser fan.
Nice.
And listening to her talk after the Tom Brady roast is interesting because she's having a moment right now where it's like, she's probably the most talked she'll ever be about, the most famous she'll ever be is right now.
Yeah.
Like that roast was fucking huge.
Yeah.
And like she's confused by the attention because it's like theoretically, and this is my interpretation of watching her in interviews, where it's like that's everything you'd be chasing. If you're a comic and you're like, okay, I'm like, I have the #1 special right now. Everybody fucking knows who I am.
Yeah.
I'm on a huge show, murdering. I'm the #1 thing on Netflix, which is the king of all the streaming.
Yeah.
Like, that should make you, if that doesn't make you happy, nothing will. And I think it's like watching somebody get to that level who I'm a fan of, I'm kind of in my head going like, kind of like what you said, the happiness has to be in your process and like your day-to-day life and just like, like you said, like choosing to have a better attitude not expecting that stuff to make you feel better.
Exactly. And so often too, it's so misplaced why people are on that grind. You know, I'm not saying she's like that, but I'm just saying, like, you know, Richard Lewis, he like got into stand up because like he wanted to make his dad laugh. His dad never laughed at anything he said, and his dad never did. Like his dad didn't think he was funny even after he was like a famous comedian. So it's like, you know, it's like you're just putting drugs on yourself emotionally to try to solve something that's not solvable. And I think that like a lot of times it's like someone wasn't cool in school, or they just like they were ignored as a child or whatever, and they, you know, this is their retaliation or their like solution for that. But I think the important thing to do, and this is something I feel like I've done a pretty good job with, is you have to really imagine like what your life's gonna be like if you get those things that you're working towards. So like I think a lot of people who become famous are like surprised to find out that people are stalking them and like sending them death threats and like saying terrible stuff about them online. And it's like those are things that every single super famous have to get a bodyguard now. You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of downsides to it. And I think that people also are just like, this is so fucked up. I just went through all this to get famous, and now I have no privacy. And, you know, I go to coffee with a platonic friend and suddenly I'm cheating on my spouse. You know what I mean? Like in the tabloids, you know what I mean? Just like all this like weird,
you shit. It takes like a really emotionally stable person to probably handle that. And that's not who's pursuing fame.
Yeah, most times. No.
That's why all those fucking Disney actors just lose. Beyond the fact that they're being, you know, they're jerking off potatoes or whatever the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
That was. Did you watch that?
No, but I've seen some of the like both sides of it. People are saying it's like, you know, like a hit piece that people are defending him.
People are defending him?
Some people who like, you know, people in comedy who have like known him forever, you know.
Oh my God.
But I haven't seen the thing, so I can't comment on like the facts.
Well, I did want to collect your comment. The idea that that's
if he was asking kids to jerk off potatoes, like that's pretty fucked up.
That's pretty bad. No, I was laughing at the phrasing of you saying I can't comment, because that would mean like this podcast is a place for people to come make their comments on things, which is like, this is the equivalent of going to the top of that mountain and screaming at the top of your lungs.
Dude, have you seen where I am? This is the most important thing to happen to me in months.
This is big.
This is like television.
This is where you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, get ready for you're about to be bicoastal.
My star turn.
Yeah. It would be my goal, if this podcast ever did get big, that would be the fun part, would be like bringing my friends onto a successful podcast.
Sure.
Would be an awesome feeling.
Sure.
Like, I love helping people out when I can, and I can't.
That's how I feel about the producing. It gives me a chance to book people to do shows. You know,
Fuck yeah, dude. You know. Yeah, I mean, that again, that's such a earnest way of looking at it. When I was doing my show in LA, I was like, I'm not getting anything out of this. It's a ton of work. Nobody comes to the shows. This sucks. I quit. I was never really in a meaningful way thinking about like, I want to get this person up more. Maybe once or twice when someone comes in town.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, I'm like, you're just thinking like, you know, Machiavellian style. How do I?
But in LA, you're just confronted with it. It's so tough. It's so hard not to like, everything is just so, every day someone you just saw is like in deadline or whatever and got their thing. It's just like, it feels so competitive.
Yeah, it's true.
Whereas here, I'm the funniest motherfucker in this whole town. No one fucks with me.
You kind of are at the top of the hill a little bit. Like literally, you're at the top of the hill.
Yeah, literally. That's why we bought this house.
That's intentional.
Yeah, Comedy Hill.
Yeah, that's a. Do you feel like, what is it? Big fish, small pond up here?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
It's nice.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quality stage time. You get to like open for cool people.
I wonder if that's gonna show up on the podcast.
What's happening there?
It's an alarm for me to walk my dog at 4:00 on the West Coast.
That's hilarious.
Let me turn that off.
Sure. I'm sure my cats are like, "What is this?"
Okay, and we're back.
I love how
back for the big finish.
I love how on brand that was for It's like literally it has to be a bark so you know what the alarm is for.
Yeah. I set 1 million alarms in my phone, and they were all the same noise, and I was just turning them off.
Yeah.
So then I went through and customized every alarm so that it reminds me of what needs to happen.
Nice.
Yeah. So right now my dog is by the door scratching, and my wife she's doing the job.
It's great.
Yeah. We're nearing the end. Is there anything that you did want to comment on? I mean, right now you have a platform of about 45 people listening to this. Most of them are related to me.
That's amazing.
So what do you want to tell the Hellwig clan? What thoughts need to be disseminated?
Do you have any like prompts or things that people that you like to ask people? I mean, I have something that's like, I have like a premise that I think's funny, you know.
I have no prompts.
Okay, great.
This is the prompt.
Okay,
this is the prompt. Is me going like, we have 10 minutes left.
Okay. Yeah, can I run something by you? Is that
cool? Anything by me? Yeah.
So last night after we were hanging out, I decided to pack. I also decided to take a weed gummy. So like as I was packing, it got harder and harder to to pack. But it was funny because the thing I want to explore is like, you know, I'm taking a personal item both ways because I don't want to pay like the $35 or whatever for a carry-on bag. And we have this piece of luggage that is like the biggest possible personal item you can get. So I had like this whole list of things that I wanted to bring, and I thought it was a small list, but like it wasn't fitting into the personal item. So I kept like changing my trip, like in my mind. Like I kept like being like, oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna go hiking anymore. Those shoes are gone. You know, like oh, I'm just like not gonna wear pants. I'll just do everything on Zoom on this trip. You know what I mean? Like I just like kept taking shit out of the bag and just being like, I'm gonna have to do laundry at my friend's house on Wednesday. I'm packing for 3 days, not 5. You know, it's just like But I think there's something funny to the fact where like I'm literally making my trip worse and worse and harder for
$35
because of that. Yeah.
Well, it's not just that. Like you also have to think of like you have to pick up the bag. Mm-hmm. They could lose the bag. Yeah, that does happen.
Yeah.
I hate flying.
Yeah.
So when I arrive at an airport, the ability to just be able to fucking beeline it out of the airport into fresh air, not be around those fucking people that I was just on the plane with.
Yeah.
Like there is a value to that.
Yeah.
So I'll say that. But yeah, it is funny the idea of like I'll just who's going to care if I brush my teeth?
Yeah.
Like that little bit of space for the fucking travel size toothpaste and the brush, you know, if that's what, you know, nets me an extra $70. Is it 35 one way or 35 round trip?
It's one, cause it's 2 different airlines. So it's like, yeah, each airline's different, but
$70, that's a lot.
I know. And also that you have to do it ahead of time. Like if you don't, sometimes they charge you more at the airport, but it's funny, like, just like you learn like what kind of person you are. Like I had like 2 different phone chargers that I'm like taking, but then I was like, maybe I should ditch the book. You know, it's like, I was like maybe this book, maybe reading is just like stupid. You know?
You still read a lot?
Not as much as I'd like, but I try to like have something that I'm reading.
I fucking audiobook the shit out of stuff now. I've been going.
It's great if you're, like, especially in LA, you're driving and stuff.
Yeah, it feels like cheating.
Yeah,
it feels like cheating. What I don't do, I don't say I read the book if I listen to the audiobook. That is cheating. My wife, like I would get books and I looked at books as like homework. So I'd read a book every 5 years.
Yeah.
And I would literally pick like the hardest books to read.
Right.
So it's like I'm not a reader, but like I'll buy like a leather bound, you know, first edition of Ulysses.
Yeah.
And I'm just reading it like painfully. And my wife's like, just get a book that you like.
Yeah.
That you can read easily. I'm like, no, I want to the whole point of reading is to be smart.
Yeah.
And so she started just getting me books that I would like. She got me a book about like a minor league baseball player.
Nice.
She got me The Coddling of the American Mind by Jonathan Haidt, which is really good. So she's like, that's like shifted my ability to like enjoy reading again.
Yeah.
But it's such a stupid problem that I had.
Yeah.
That I was like, I can't read. Like, I would go to the library with her, and I would see books. I'd be like, oh, that'd be fun to read. But I won't be smarter. I already know about that. Like, that's not what the purpose is.
Yeah.
I like your bit. I think you should keep that. I like the bit about, like, you learn about yourself.
Yeah, there's like another line I wanted to do too of like, my friend was like, oh, bring a bathing suit because I got a pool. And I was just like, I should probably just end this friendship.
How much fucking shit do you need to bring?
Not even that much, but it's fucking personal items are not suitcases. You know what I mean? That's the thing. It's like the airline's trying to send you a message. Like, obviously I'm not the target, like, audience for this shit.
Yeah, there's definitely something there. That's a solid premise.
Cool.
Keep working it.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
You'll forward feedback, like if people like send in tags.
I will. Everybody can send. You'll give your social media tags at the end, get some.
Great.
Get some fucking punch ups from my audience. Well, look, we are at time. This has been absolutely a lovely experience to have you on the podcast.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
I feel like I should have tea right now.
I could have made tea.
I know. I don't like tea, but sometimes I feel like it should be near me.
Yeah, I feel you.
I wouldn't drink it. I wouldn't touch it.
But it would waft up. Be some nice visual.
Can you imagine with the fireplace, a little tea waft? I wish the audience could see the view out here.
Yeah, it's pretty special.
It really is. I spend a lot of time on this podcast describing things off camera.
Off camera with Erick.
If only I just did this and turned the camera and you could look out. What's the name of the spot that we're doing tonight?
Bright Ideas Brewing in Westfield, Massachusetts.
And you run this show, like, it's monthly or it's quarterly?
Every couple of months. It might be like every couple of months, every quarter. We're sort of trying to figure out the rhythm. But there's one here in this town, too, that I do every 2 months in North Adams. So.
Okay. North Adams, not Adams.
Not Adams.
Adams and North Adams, apparently bitter rivals.
Yeah.
Were you aware of that?
I mean, it's a small town, man. Everyone hates everybody.
Everybody hates Is that true?
Everyone loves everybody, then they also hate them.
My family lives in a small town in Maryland, and it's that kind of shit where, like, I would go home. I don't live there. Yeah. And people would know things about me. I'm like, I'm not even here.
It's unreal.
People would be like, I heard you broke up with your girlfriend. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
And then my mom's like,
dude, people will come up to me when I go home and like have full conversations, like, and I have no idea who they are. And I have a good memory too. Yeah.
Are you good with names?
I'm pretty good with names, but I'm definitely good with faces usually. I'm just like, oh yeah, I went to school with that person or whatever. Like sometimes it's just like, it's because nothing happens in these small towns. So like when you show up, you are the new independent variable in that situation, you know?
Yeah. And they're going home, they're like, you'll never guess who's in town.
Eric. Oh, he just broke up with his girlfriend. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We've known that forever.
And their kids are listening.
Yeah.
And their kids like, they're like, I fucking hate my parents. That guy Eric's in town, by the way. He broke up with his girlfriend. Yeah. Like, it just fucking like wildfire in these small towns.
That's why I do that bit about the girl that told me about my parents' divorce. That really happened.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Your mom or your dad said something to their friend who said something to their kid who said something to you. Did you go tell you? Were you like, hey guys, I know you're getting a divorce? Or did you just keep it to yourself?
It was so out of left field that I was like, you're just wrong. It was like, it felt like, fake news or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like walking to the party, taking my coat off. Oh my God, hi Charlie, your parents got divorced. What? And then I went to like London for a week with my grandparents the next day. So I was like just on a trip.
Yeah.
And then when I came back at dinner that night, they were like, we got to sit you down. That's what my
parents did to me. I went on a Boy Scout trip. I went like hiking. And my dad was supposed to come, but then he didn't. And I remember when I was leaving, he was like, have fun, son. Like, he was like very emotional. And I was like, I'm just fucking going to hike.
In hindsight, I think it's really nice. They don't want to fuck up something cool. Imagine if they had told you and then sent you on that trip.
Yeah, because it really was like, not to be over dramatic or whatever, but it's like, it is a death.
Yeah.
That is what you're experiencing as a kid.
Yeah.
And it's not a death in terms of like there's no fucking dead body.
Right.
Like it's the benefit of a death, I guess, is like you have to deal with it right there in the moment. But like for that kind of stuff, like how you break it to your kids, that's a huge deal.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's also like not, I don't know. I feel like nowadays people getting divorced is not nearly the issue that it used to. Like,
true, yeah.
I think so many kids came from divorced families and know what not to do that they would not make the same mistakes their parents made.
Exactly.
And that's you can't even really put that on if you're, you know, if you're getting divorced and like you don't know that and your parents weren't divorced, so you have all these feelings and you don't know how to like fucking handle them. Like, I can cut both my parents or anybody out there, like if they fuck up during a divorce and make it hard on their kids, it's like I doubt they're trying to do that.
Right. Of course.
It's just like it's just hard to know yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
Anyway, it's a very depressing note to end it on, but looks like we made it.
I like to end things.
Here's the thing. Our parents got divorced, but we ended up staring at a mountain.
Yeah.
Doing stand-up. I think you can say objectively it worked out.
100%. Also, I'd have less time in my act if they didn't get divorced, you know?
Yeah.
We wouldn't talk about like that time they were still married in 2000. You know?
I have like no jokes about it in my act.
Yeah.
Which I think I don't know what that means. I think it means
I think it means you don't want to go there.
I don't want to go there. Yeah. I'm like I'm sure you've seen somebody on stage talking about something and they're not quite haven't processed it or they're not over it.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable.
Sure.
It's not fun.
Totally.
And when I was going to therapy for a little bit, I would say my divorce, and then the therapist would go, "It's your parents' divorce." I go, "Oh, that's right."
Yeah, that's heavy.
And then my wife would catch me saying it sometimes. And that was like not that long ago.
Yeah.
So it's like I probably have to, you know.
That's pretty selfish of you to try to take their divorce away.
It's mine. So where can my listeners, if they want to hear more of you, where are they going? Where are they finding access to your shows? All that good stuff.
CharlieNadler.com, all my shows. At Charlie Go Nadler as my Instagram, TikTok. Those are the two. I think YouTube as well, where I put like reels and stuff.
This will be on YouTube.
Hell yeah.
I'm trying to get a little YouTube following going.
I love YouTube.
YouTube fucking rules.
Yeah.
You could see anything. In the old days, you could literally see anything.
I like that it's everything. I like it's long form, widescreen stuff, and like interesting how-tos, and then also like the short TikTok-y bullshit that everyone has.
Yeah. There was, I remember when I went to college, I guess YouTube was new.
Yeah.
And like my roommate was watching like soldiers get beheaded and shit on YouTube. God. And I was like, fuck, man, they haven't like, I guess they just
haven't figured it out.
They haven't figured it out.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like you have to have the other. There has to be another place for the dark stuff. It can't be that and then like a fucking Care Bears. I have an app where I post. It's called Clapper.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Clapper?
No.
So I don't know how to describe it. It's like, I guess when they were talking about closing down TikTok.
Yeah.
Like this other one came along called Clapper.
Oh, man.
And it's kind of like for, I don't know, like salt of the earth. Like Republican style. It's like conservative TikTok.
Okay.
And it's fucking insane. Like there's no regulation on it at all. So you'll be watching a video, it's like some like cheesy comedy video, and then it's like a woman speaking like Russian, like making a fucking borscht. And then there's just a video of some dude on a motorcycle just getting run over by a truck.
Oh my God, Jesus.
Like, and then there's a lot of logging videos, just people cutting down trees. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on like truly when you swipe up, you're like, you could see anything, any scene. It's like Idi Amin having sex. Like there's no fucking, there's no algorithm. It's just random shit pops up.
Yeah, I'm sure the engagement's really high there. Literally anything can come. Like people love that shit.
Hell yeah. All right, bro. Let's hit it.
Hell yeah.
Right.
It was fun.